Hey now, cats, what is going on? This is your host, Matt Wheels O'Nasty, here with my best friend on this earth, Balls from Elwood. And we are coming to you live, pre-recorded, but live, with our newest edition of Movie Snobs. We are at episode, who fucking knows at this point, we're at least 17, 18. Who has any idea? But we have a very special episode coming your way this time around. We have two very ridiculous movies to be pitted against each other. I actually think it's the first time that we've ever put two horror movies up against each other. My buddy Balls gave me Evil Dead 2, our first follow-up picture, and I gave you Michael Haneke's Benny's video. And if you don't know what the premise of the show is, because we always assume that some people may be watching this for the first time. One, how did you find us? Two, the premise of the show is very, very simple. I am a pretentious movie snob. I watch very snooty, nose in the air type movies. Balls is a horror movie snob, pretentious B movies, blood, guts, ridiculous jokes, and all the likes. His favorite things. We give each other things that we think the other person might like or feel very uncomfortable by. And for at least the last 18 episodes, it's worked out really well. So this week, yeah, we pitted Evil Dead 2 and Michael Haneke's. Before I pass this over to Balls, I do want to say it's the first time I'm ever going to give a lead in for you, but I feel like I might make you cry. Okay, you ready for this one? So, this episode cannot exist without the previous 15, 16, 17, 18 episodes. Because I shit you not, Balls, I would not have had the language. I wouldn't have had the reference points to have even have wanted to go out of my way to find a movie like Benny's video. Although I've watched Haneke movies before, this like had me exposed to ridiculous horror movies, all these different tropes. It literally gave me the language and understanding that I needed to get into that movie. So with that being said, Balls, the floor is yours. How did you feel about Michael Haneke?
Well, you bastard, you got me all teary-eyed, dude. I knew you were going to do that. Well, you really feel that way. So I thought this was something that you might have seen like in film school or
No.
back in the day. This was something that you recently sought out.
Yeah, I shit you not. This is probably the most recent entry that I have that I'm giving you. I on my letterbox, I watched it for the first time maybe like 3 months ago, and after the credits rolled, I was like, that was dope. And I realized, holy shit, I never would have understood this movie or been able to see through the movie into what Haneke was trying to do without all of the other movies that you have exposed me to. Like, I feel like my read on this movie would have been so different if it wasn't for you taking me to horror school and showing me all these different, like, violent movies, horror movies, movies that mean stuff. So yeah. So thank you, Balls. This is now the next step in my evolution as a film fan, where I'm finding pretentious movies, but now they're horror related.
Well, dude, I mean, before we get started, I'm just going to take 2 seconds to, in fact, tell you that might be the best compliment I think anybody has ever given me. And it is, in fact, kind of making me a little emotional, like I just am on my period. So, I mean, yeah, dude, that's amazing. Like, I can't even believe that, like, me making you watch these shitty movies affects you in that way. Like, because I mean, that's like the utmost compliment to me because, like, there's nothing that I like more, and I know you feel the same way. If I really love and care about somebody, like, film, music is such a deeply passionate thing to me. When I share stuff that I love with somebody, that means I love you. So, like, and I do love you, buddy. Like, you are one of my best friends in the world, and the fact that you even had that and was able to see through that now and you actually want to seek stuff like out, I couldn't be more flattered, but I don't wanna waste any more time being a little bitch. I do plenty of that on my own time. I don't need to waste our time. I'm gonna start right into it. I have to say there was a first for this show today that you're gonna be super proud of. Would you like to know what it is?
Oh my God, what happened?
You recommended a movie to me that was so goddamn hard for me to watch that I had to break it in pieces. And I have OCD like a motherfucker, so that's super hard for me to do. It disturbed me so deeply, like even the first 20 minutes, that I'm like, I don't even know if I could fucking do this. Like, and you know the shit I've watched. I've been watching crazy fucked up shit since I shot out of my dad's dick. And holy fuck, dude. Like I up to this point, the bar was set at come and see. I probably could sit through come and see easier than I could sit through this again. But let me tell you, I fucking love this movie. I fucking love this movie. There's so many heavy themes. There's so many deeply important things that they talk about. Like, I mean, I had seen Funny Games before. I was a fan of that dude before. When you recommended this to me, it did highly intrigue me because I feel like I've seen enough of this guy's work. Holy fucking shit, dude. I don't even know where to start. Like, so many heavy themes in such an important film, and I fucking loved it, but it fucking damaged me, dude. Like, it's fucking a hard watch. And I'll be honest with you, I was just talking to XT the other day about like, you always hear me say, I hate things that have no point when they're shocking and exploitative. When they do, this is a prime example of a movie with points and using that to fucking drive those points home. Not only that, grabbing you and roughing you up a little bit. And that's what this movie does. I come out of this physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted, and I fucking loved every second of it. So back to you,
Was
sir.
it was it the let me guess, it was the pig, wasn't it? It was the pig in the beginning.
I could probably make a fucking list of shit at once, dude. Like, holy fuck. But yes, that was like, I mean, it's funny because when you see No Country for Old Men and he's killing fucking people with it, I'm like, ugh. You see a fucking pig, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm gonna, dude, it fucking stirred shit in me that I thought I killed fucking years ago. Like I thought I was dead inside, and I didn't think I was able to fucking see anything that would even ever. Dude, you made me rechase the dragon again. I didn't think these feelings still existed in me. I thought I was so desensitized to violence that I could see anything and it wouldn't bother me. Holy fuck, was I wrong? But that's the
Well,
point.
it's ridiculous because it's like there's multiple different types of violence in this movie. Like this movie goes into all these different aspects of pop culture violence. It's like, and which, by the way, how did you like seeing a cameo by Toxie, by our pal Toxie pop?
That was thrilling. Is that why you're wearing the Tromathon shirt?
That's exactly why I'm wearing the trauma.
That alone is thrilling to me. I'm like, wow, really? This movie? Like, that's crazy. But
Well, because I think that was the funniest part about it is it was like it was an incredibly cultured movie, and I think that's why I was so drawn to it. And I'm thankful to you because it helped me see what Haneke was actually trying to say because he was like, okay, so you're showing this kid who, okay, yeah, he's going to the movie store and his parents aren't really paying attention, and yeah, he's grabbing Toxic Avenger and he's taken in violent media, but it's almost like, is that the thing that's actually fucking him up? Because when you watch the movie, the answer is no. That's not even close to what's fucking him up. It's his parents not paying attention to him. It's his parents letting him glorify real violence. I mean, how terrible a parents do you have to be like, okay, Benny, let's like take a homemade video of us killing the pig for dinner. You know, which fine, we kill things because we eat them. I thought that was a really beautiful scene later where it's like, violence for food is a normal thing. We kill the pig so we could eat it when the mother takes Benny to Egypt after he kills the vagabond girl. It's like him noticing like killing the chicken and this desensitization towards our violence towards animals. But it's like, but in some regards, it's just food. It's not just for joy. And it's like Benny was getting joy out of the process of murder and killing, and his parents never gave a shit. Nobody ever cared. And it was like, I thought that was handled so well, where he showed all these different, like, here's what we blame, or here's what we think that we're blaming. And then here's the lives that are actually leading towards people committing horrific violence. And I mean, the murder scene with him killing that girl that he brought home, like, yeah, he like Haneke shows like potential real violence towards an animal in this movie. I do genuinely believe the kill scene towards that girl is one of the most horrific kill scenes ever put on camera.
It
Like,
is.
and most of it wasn't even shown. Like, you don't
That's
even.
what I was just gonna say. It is, but it's done so tastefully with theater of the mind that you make it you make it way more terrible than it actually is kind of purveyed on film. Like, which that's even because it's funny. I was just talking to my friend the other night, and there's always this misconception of like when people see they remember Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one, they remember it a lot more horrific than it actually is. There's not one scene of Leatherface sawing anybody up in the whole movie, but people have seen it and they have this idea of it. They'll argue with you endlessly that, oh yeah, he's cutting people off. Never happened. So I feel like this is kind of like the same thing where when you see that the death of the vagabond girl, when I go to talk about it in my mind, it's going to be a lot more horrific than it was actually shown on film, which because it's just such an incredible. I mean, this movie has so much, man. I mean, I have a question for you, but I mean, it's a love letter to parental neglect. It's a love letter to desensitization of violence, loneliness, isolation, which I think we can all relate to. Even some of it's like, I mean, there's times where I'm like, is he teeter tottering between he does he even have a realization between violence at this point between fantasy and reality? Like the line is blurred, and he's just so dead and ice and dead inside.
That part of that movie where like, because I think that's what I love about what Haneke did in it so much is he was fucking around. And this is where the pretentious side of me was like getting every piece of it was getting hit. Is Haneke's playing around with all these different forms of media where it's like, okay, here you're seeing it through a VHS player. Okay, you're seeing something happening live through the recorded camera and you're seeing it on the TV while it's happening live, but it's kind of off to the side. So you know it's real, but you're seeing it on the TV. So in like all of those little things that he was fucking around with like the different forms of media, different uses of cameras, television, um, that's what that was playing with. Was this kid has no connection between real life and fictional life. To him, they're almost one and the same. And the violence that you see on the TV, the moment that it happens on the TV, it's no longer real. The pig getting murdered so they could eat it was real in the moment, but him watching it over and over again created a fantastical element to it. Just like him killing the girl. Him killing the girl was real, but it was recorded onto the TV while it was happening, slowly drawing him back from reality, which I thought was fucked up.
Yeah, the glorification of media and like him being easily influenced by the moving picture is the biggest takeaway for me, and that is goddamn terrifying. Like, not only that, I didn't realize the kid that plays Benny was one of the dudes from Funny Games. Like, I didn't realize that was one of the brothers. Like, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh my God, is it? I didn't even know that. I didn't.
Yeah, Xtina looked it up, and I'm like, holy shit! Because I'm like, this dude is such a great actor at this age, and he's so emotionally dead and cold. I wonder if he went on to do anything else. Makes total sense now, don't
That
it?
makes okay. So that's actually really funny. I didn't look, I really wasn't looking at the actors afterwards because I was so caught up in the philosophical and like, what the fuck did I just consume? Like it like that, but that does make sense. So that kid is terrifying. That's a
Yeah.
terrifying actor.
Oh yeah. But that leads me to my question. I actually had a question I wanted to propose to you, which actually this movie actually made me think of. And it's I'm not even sure if I even have a definitive answer, so that's why I wanted to run it past you. The kid is clearly sociopathic from all the shit that he's watched on all this, but do you feel, from a psychology standpoint, do you feel that his evil was born or learned?
Oh God, I love that question. Okay. Cop out answer, but I swear to Christ, it's not. I think it's both. So I think It's an instinct that a person can be born with. However, it is absolutely an instinct, or it is something that can be nurtured.
Hmm.
It's something that you can lose control of, and something that if you're not so from the moment that this child was at a very young and impressionable age, violence and death were normalized to him in a way that very much could have made whatever penchant he had towards violence worse. So he may have always had that instinct towards, I like blood and guts and violence. But in a normal world with normal parents and people who can spot red flags, that kid may have just wound up like us, right? Just somebody who loves watching the Toxic Avenger playing Grand Theft Auto, but is aware that there's fiction and what can happen in fictional life, and then reality and what happens in real life.
Yeah.
Where I think that the nurture comes in is that learned behavior side of things was never focused on by his parents, because they didn't give a fuck. They were hands off, rich, bougie motherfuckers going and doing their own thing. Because it's one of those things to where if I have a kid, I'm gonna put myself in these parents' shoes. If I have a son and for some reason we are somewhere where we're with a yokel and we're killing a pig because we're gonna do a pig roast, which is something I could see myself doing in life. I'm going to, my kid might help us with it, but I'm not going to let them film it. And I'm certainly not going to let them film it and then obsessively watch it in their room over and over and over again. If I were to notice that, say my son were to film us killing the family pig for a pig roast on his cell phone, and then we go home and I see him watching it over and over again, I'm going to go, "Hey, little Johnny, let's delete that. Let's delete that and let's talk about how this isn't something that we should glorify or watch, because, you know, death is a final thing and it's not something that we should take lightly. And in some cases, we do it for food. And when we do it for food, we definitely shouldn't glorify it or make it anything more special, because it's something that we just have to do. And then if he's like, "Well, Dad, I really, really like the way the pig bleeds," then as the father, or as like the parent, I'm going to be like, "All right, now we need to go talk to a psychiatrist." So I think it's one of those things to where I think it's an instinct that maybe this kid could have been born with, and a natural, like, something that they would have had to deal with, but I also very much believe that there was some very much learned and empowered behaviors that the parents, because of their "we don't give a fuck" attitude, and we don't care that our son is just watching videos of killing a real pig over and over again, like, I don't know, like, I feel like it's a little bit of option A and a little bit of option B.
So
Most
let me ask you this.
option B, though, I would say. Actually, the more I watch the movie, I very much, because I asked the same question. I don't know, like, the question that I put on my letterboxd, does Michael Haneke have contempt for movies and media? Like, does he believe that media is killing us and inspiring people to be evil? Or does Michael Haneke have contempt for people and think that we're just naturally evil and we'll never know better?
Well, that's actually what I wanted to ask you, because I mean, as you know, my history, I've been watching ultra violent, fucked up shits for a very early age. Because I mean, do you think the difference is the parenting? Because like my mom, would always, tell me, we would talk about things, and I'd have that differential of fantasy and reality. Do you think if Benny had better parents, that would have never happened?
I think if Benny had better parents, I don't necessarily think he would have gone as far as killing the vagabond.
Hmm.
Um, could he have been one of those guys who was like physically aggressive, like naturally physically aggressive, potentially a rapist? Maybe. But I don't think he would have had that indifference towards killing because to him the act of killing was so moot and something he wasn't thinking about because of all the times he watched like killing the pig and put it like how quickly the life went out of the pig
Mhm.
and like he would watch it over and over again and then he had that little like air thing that so I think that action was so like he was so indifferent towards it for when he finally did kill her.
Hmm.
But honestly, I don't know. Like I think that's why I think it's a little bit of option A and a little bit of option B to where like these things are natural and you can have someone who is born genuinely fucked up. But I think you're going to get the hyper violent, aggressive person who becomes a menace to society
Hmm.
when you have someone who's born that way and they also have parents who do not give a fuck about them.
So that's definitely, definitely maybe not be the main concentration, but it definitely plays a big factor. Mm.
Yeah, because it doesn't help. Like, I feel like it's one of those things to where if you actually had parents who cared, they would have noticed those red flags and maybe gotten him psychological help.
More understanding, or at least gotten somebody to tell him
Yeah.
and get to him more understanding. That makes sense. But I tell you what, I don't know what else you have to say about it other than that was a big swing, and I have to say it worked out. But yes, holy cow! Chalk one up for the most disturbing thing that you've ever made me watch, and also one of the best things you've ever made me watch, and that's really all I have. Mm.
Well, that's part. Well, this is the perfect come down then for the final 10 minutes of our show because after fucking your head up brutally with Benny's video, you gave me the second version. You gave me Evil Dead 2, Sam Raimi's follow up to his original, which, by the way, I thought was so funny because it was the first time I ever watched a movie where I saw a director go, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just remake the first one over again. What
It is kind of a reimagine. Yeah, I mean, because the first beginning is like a reimagining kind of.
It is quite literally just the first movie with significantly more jokes and like way more ideas where Sam Raimi is like, I could do this better. I could do this so much better than I did the first time. And he was right. Like, I actually liked it significantly more as a movie. I could, like, okay, the first movie was very serious. And it was still funny and ridiculous and campy and silly but, like, I had an easier time rating it, right? Like, I had an easier time being like, "Yeah, this is a movie that's like a 4 out of 5 or whatever." Evil Dead 2 is one of those movies to where I'm gonna look you in the eyes and tell you it's a perfect movie. I can't tell you how I'm gonna rate it though. Like, I can't sit here and tell you it's a 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, because there's so much insanity to it and so much to it that's like, it's a better movie, but then it's somehow more rough around the edges. It's more ridiculous. Sometimes the acting is significantly worse than anything you've ever seen in any movie, but then you're like,
But
"Wait
that's
a
the
minute."
charm.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, I think that's on purpose. Like, I feel like he just told I feel like Sam Raimi was just going around telling everyone, "Turn it up. Just turn it up higher. Turn it up way higher. I just need you to go to 10 right now."
And not only that, that's actually the movie that coined the term splatstick, where you incorporate gore and slapstick comedy together. And I mean, that to me will always be the granddaddy of all sequels. Evil Dead will always be my favorite horror franchise. I'm glad, and not only that, this movie. I mean, the first one really kind of laid the groundwork for the whole universe and the mythos, and this movie definitely took that and expanded upon it. Now you have to see the third part. Mm.
I loved how it expanded the mythos, and I love the idea that Bruce Campbell is infinite. Like he's like a time traveler who like they spent all this time talking about the folklore and they're like, yeah, back in the 1300s, this happened and they had to kill the evil spirit and that was the last time it came around. Just to like end the movie on, oh yeah, that the person who killed the evil spirits, it was just Bruce Campbell after got sent into the black hole. And he got dumped somewhere in the
Hell,
middle of the
hell. Well, buddy, if you loved Evil Dead 2, you got to see the last part of the trilogy.
Yeah, it's a franchise like and I this is one of those things to where it's kind of fascinating like where my holes are in movies and in movie history and in because this is one of those movies to where it's like I really don't know how I haven't been exposed to it or fully exposed to it
Well,
up until now, but
I mean, 30
it's
years ago, I would totally understand, and I mean, you are a younger dude, so that makes sense to me, but I have to say in the past, since in the past 5 or 10 years, I would never thought I would see the day where Evil Dead had become, you know, a mainstream thing. Like, if you would have asked me that, I would have said there's no way that's ever gonna happen. Because I mean, 30 years ago, it was on the video nasties list, if you're familiar with what that is. Like, video movies that got banned, like, all over the country. There was a time where it was super very difficult to find, and now you could walk in any given Walmart and like, "Hey, here's some uncut Evil Dead 2 for you." Yeah.
and that's so ridiculous to think about. I definitely understand, but like the taint, like it's so tame compared to some shit that we're watching now that it's kind of crazy to think about a movie like that getting banned. Like even like just the sexual, like there's not like I get it, there's some sexual elements to it, but it's really not that risque.
Well, that's
It's
always been the
really
big contention with that movie. The tree rape scene's always been the big thing they talk about, to this day even. I mean,
well, yeah, it's kind of hard to not talk about a tree rape scene. That's and that was one of those things to where it's like when I'm watching that again in the second movie, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, Sam Raimi literally just went, okay, I'm gonna keep all of these ideas from the first movie. We're gonna get them out of the way within the first 15 minutes, and then we're gonna do a whole bunch of new shit. He's like, you know what we did? You know what I did wrong in the last movie? It took us an hour and 15 minutes to get to the tree rape scene. Let's get to that a little bit quicker this time around.
well, I also like the fact that you got to kinda meet, like, you get the whole backstory of the Book of the Dead with the Nobi cabin and, the professor and Henrietta, you get all that. Plus, you get, his what is it? Was his granddaughter that comes.
Yeah, the background and like I understood so like I didn't understand jack shit about the lore from the first movie. Like
Yeah, they don't
it
really
was
give you
just
too much.
there was none. It was just spooky book that they found in a cabin, and that's it. And this one, you understand that like there was a whole like journey to find this book, and it had been killing archaeologists for some time, and then you have like a familial element to it. You have the professor and his wife being overtaken. Like it was just a lot richer to understand. Like this is what the Book of the Dead is actually doing to Earth.
And I mean, it does actually get richer and richer with each movie. Like, it does keep building upon itself. And I know a lot of people were really bummed out that Ash retired and they started going off and doing, other movies set in the universe, but I actually really like that. Like, I think this
And it
the last sequel was really strong, and I think this new one coming out looks really strong, and then I'm excited because the big news dropped yesterday. The one that's coming out next year is a prequel set in the '70s to the original Evil Dead. So,
that's
that's pretty
awesome.
exciting.
It's very timely for us to do this episode then.
It really is. You couldn't be a better time to be an Evil Dead fan.
My favorite joke before we run out of time. My favorite joke from the entire movie was when he's going and looking in the shack when he first finds or is trying to find
Bullshit.
chainsaw. And he's looking around and he looks at it and it's just this real campy outlined
I'm the chainsaw.
chainsaw of like where the chainsaw is. And it's so fucking stupid. But then it's one of those jokes to where you watch it, you're like, you laugh, you realize, oh, that's fucking dumb. And then you think about it and go, holy shit, I knew exactly what they were trying to do. That is so fucking good. Like it goes from being the dumbest joke you've ever watched anyone do to like, oh my god, that was the smartest joke ever because I know immediately he was looking for a chainsaw.
Well, I mean, I'm tickled pink that you love Evil Dead 2 because like I said, that's some of my favorite shit in the universe, and I can probably recite that movie from beginning to end because I've seen it so much. So just knowing that you love that as much as I do was, again, one of the biggest compliments I think I've ever heard. So that being said,
Another one.
go check. You got to see Army of Darkness. Go check out the Evil Dead franchise. Check out Benny's videos. And buddy, you got anything to add before we kick off here?
I got nothing to add, just another amazing episode. And again, an episode that wouldn't have been able to exist without all of the previous episodes. So if I were to dare say, I'd say this is probably the most perfect double feature you could ever watch when it comes from the movie snobs recommendations.
Well, make sure you go out and watch Benny's video and you watch Evil Dead 2, or I'll swallow your soul. This is Balls from Elwood. This is my ride or die, Matt Wheels on SD. We are the Movie Snobs, and we will see you next time, cats.